Hello and welcome to another episode of Laying Down the Lore 40K, a lore podcast in which we aim to separate our Necrons from our Night Lords, our Psykers from our Servitors, and our Orcs from our Old Ones. And generally
no interruptions
ask,
today,
what's up with this? Generally ask, what's up with this 40k stuff? My name is Ben Barbar, and while I used to know pretty much fuck all about 40k, I now know very little. With me is my co-host Christopher Crowlin Allen.
I think I know more than Ben.
Who, despite years of valiant effort, still knows next to nothing.
Challenge accepted.
And my dear brother Darren.
I know less than I know.
Who knows so much about Warhammer it's frankly disturbing. This dichotomy between our levels of understanding is why we're all here, as this series is an attempt to address that ignorance.
Huzzah!
Hooray.
Have you trimmed down? Have you cropped down the intro?
Yeah, you said it was too wordy, didn't you? So I did the only logical thing that one can do, which is to remove the words.
It was just an observation. I wasn't saying or stating any claims.
Yeah, your observations have a way of being cutting, Chris. They're just
Yeah. Have you considered that might be shit? Oh, thanks, Crowl.
Yeah, I've got a pretty tactless way of saying things.
Why don't you try and do it good?
Yeah. Have you thought about being better? You know,
basically, that was my diplomatic way of saying, "Shut up, Ben."
It's so much more tactful than saying "Shut up, Ben." Same end result. So.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's better than any of the intros that I've done. I don't know. I did one intro, didn't I? And it was pretty banging. I got to say, if I may say,
it's probably the highlight of the series. To be honest, I think numbers have dropped off.
If I'm being modest, it was pretty fucking good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, we had a joke. Somebody sent in a joke. Why can't a bicycle stand on its own?
Say it more sternly. Why can't a bicycle stand
All
on
right,
its
sexy
own?
crowd, settle down.
Because of
say it more sternly.
Physics.
Spit in my mouth. What?
Yeah. Whisper it in my ear. Because of gravity. You need to lean it up against something.
Because it's too tired.
Oh, so why can't a bicycle? Not why can a bicycle?
That's what I said.
No, you said why can a bicycle?
I thought you said why won't a bicycle?
Why won't a bicycle? Because it's not in the mood.
Why should a bicycle stand up on its own?
Now that I searched my recollection, I thought you said, what if a bicycle?
How would a bicycle?
No, think about it. What you actually said was, if a bicycle falls in a forest, does anyone care? Okay. Do I
Cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Pretty funny. That contributor. Yeah.
That was from Thimble. That's a real name.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a thing.
Oh, their name's on the tip of my thumb. Boom. Nailed it.
Now that's a joke.
That's
a fucking joke.
That's how you do it, Ben.
Yeah. To quote Peter Kay, now we've started. Yeah.
Right, Crowley, you know what time it is.
Citizen of the Imperium, it's time for frontal lobotomy or bottle in front of me.
Hey! Oh. Right.
Test me.
Episode 48 today, episode 47 last time. Space Marine
Counting.
Primaris companies. I have to say that to kind of get me locked into it's like a trigger word. We were looking at Primaris
units. Yeah.
Primaris units.
As opposed to Primaris Unix. It's a different podcast.
Is the plural is something belonging to a Primaris apostrophe? It would be.
Yeah, but the apostrophe is silent. Yeah.
Yeah, the apostrophe is implied. Yeah.
Primaris space apostrophe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spastrophe. Spastrophe. Yep. Nope. That's a tongue twister.
Strong enough.
Apostrophe. Spastrostomy. Sounds like a medical procedure.
No, it sounds like you're taking the piss out of your teacher in school. Apostrophe, spastrophe.
I don't believe in grammar. Yeah. Right. Question one, Chris. Why did the firstborn Space Marines resent the introduction of the Primaris Space Marines.
I mean, you would, wouldn't you? You know, you're the firstborn. Like, Darren can relate to this. He was the firstborn. And then here comes Primaris Benny with his extra implants, and he's bigger, stronger, and faster. And we're going to be phased out.
I've never thought of it that way, but that's 100% what's happened.
Right? This is what I see. This is what I see when we're in this show.
But this is the thing, it's not the Primaris' fault, and it's not my fault either. I didn't choose to be born after, okay?
Yes, you did.
Stronger, faster, taller.
Yeah, I was just hanging on for dear life, like, you first, kicking Blair out. Yes, it basically signaled their end, because obviously if they were making Primarises, they weren't going to make any of that.
And they were introduced orally.
I know they weren't, Darren.
He's shaking his head, listeners. Nope. He bottled out halfway through that.
I did bottled out of that one.
No. I can't unsay that now.
I need to finish my first coffee before I can make oral sex strips.
Right, question 2. What was the name of the founding that started the Primaris? That's probably not the right way to phrase it, but
the Primaris founding? I had no idea. Let me have a think.
It was started by Robuti Guliman. So think about his what's the name of his home
the Ultra something.
So close. Yeah.
So close.
Hold on.
Do you know what, Kral? I'm going to give it to you. Yeah.
Kral,
it wasn't the Ultramar founding. It had the word Ultra in it, though.
It had a word that was very close to Ultra, but Dar's giving it to you anyway. So it doesn't matter what the answer is. We're just going to move on. It was the Ultima.
It was the Ultima founding. Yeah.
Ultima.
The third one, Kral. What vehicle was lovingly converted into a Mario Kart paint job?
Oh, something like the Raider? Was it the Raider?
Oh, it's so close.
Invader.
Invader, yes!
Invader, yeah!
Fucking A. All right.
It's take one. 100%. This is episode 48. I'm genuinely proud of Chris.
Yeah, exactly. 77.19%, Kral.
Nailing it.
Smashing it, man.
What does that mean?
Nothing. I think that intro change couldn't have come at a better time, really, Kral.
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah, because we've started recording.
The 40K show you knew, guys, is over.
Yeah.
We've got a more concise intro. No support. Follow, subscribe, and comment and stuff.
Stop that.
Yeah, but in the interest of honesty, we've been recording for nearly 20 minutes, so this will cut down nicely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This episode, we're going to continue our image-based journey into audio. So we're going to have a look today at the commanders and leaders that are found within a Space Marine chapter. So we're going to look at the kind of line officers, so lieutenants, captains, and chapter masters, together with the more specialized leadership ranks within a given chapter.
So these are basically everyone above, like the privates and sergeants, the front line. These are more officer class.
Exactly right. So what we did there in the last couple of episodes is covered everything from scouts through kind of Devastator and assault marines into the kind of core of the chapter, which would be the tactical or battle line marines. And then we looked at the veterans and the kind of more specialized and veteran style troops. So this now is the marines that lead those units,
right,
or groups of units.
Are they like corporate in the office? Do you know what I mean? They're like they all have an office somewhere else.
They've never fired a bolter in their life.
Yeah, there's no kind of executive style. You know, the ones that they've never been out of an upper middle class meeting room in their entire life. These are Marine officers who lead from the front.
Hardcore.
Yes. Funny statement. Let's move on. So we'll start with the more junior ranks, which are the Space Marine lieutenants. These are a rank that existed within the Space Marine legions and existed during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. But with the second founding, in the aftermath of the narrow victory by the Imperium, they were phased out and returned only due to the Ultima founding and the kind of reorganization of the Codex Astartes. So you started having, Mr. Ben?
Oh, sorry, the Ultima founding, do you announce a founding and then the creation of the Space Marines start, or do you create the Space Marines and then kind of look back retrospectively and go, well, that was the Ultima
Chicken or egg, innit?
Yeah.
What I believe is that they announce there's going to be a founding, and then all of the effort goes into making the Space Marine chapters as part of a given founding. The Ultima founding is the exception that proves the rule, because effectively 100,000 Primaris Space Marines walked out of stasis chambers, fully armed and ready to go.
Yeah, and Rabuti Guilliman was like, whoa, we haven't got a name yet. Just pause. Guys, let's brainstorm.
The rush to the toilet must have been biblical. Like 100,001, but we've only got one lavatory. Shit.
It's like queue at a festival.
Yeah, but they could pee in their suits, can't they?
Yeah, there's attachments within their suits and devices and probes, yes.
Down the Urethra Franklin tube.
The urethra Franklin. There are whole days that pass where I forget that we laughed at Urethra Franklin.
Yeah.
It makes me happy. So with their reintroduction in the late 41st millennium, all Space Marine chapters, certainly during the Ultima founding, but then rolled out to all existing chapters, these new lieutenant rank was instituted. Now, there are 2 lieutenants per company serving under the company captain. And organizationally, each lieutenant is in charge of 50 Battle Brothers, 50 Astartes Space Marines. And that obviously translates to 5 squads. And usually what happens is, because there's 6 battle line, 2 close support and 2 fire support, each lieutenant is in charge of 3 kind of battle line or tactical squads, an assault or close support squad, and a devastator or fire support squad. Dramatic pause. With the proposed expansion of companies, if you'll recall, units from the reserve companies can be assigned on an ongoing basis to a given battle company. You can increase the squad size from 10 to 20 within a given company. And so you would see the lieutenants kind of command double in size. They serve as the kind of right hands of the captains, providing far more flexibility and command support during battles and operations. They are battle leaders, and so can command a force in the field on their own. So they are the most junior of commanding officers within a chapter.
I'll have to speak to my manager.
Yeah, exactly.
Space Marine, please go over there.
So some part of their iconography is the star badges that you get in McDonald's. So you get a number of stars based on your service at different stations.
Space Marine Officer of the Month.
Yeah.
What's the kind of point cost difference then between one of them lads and like the kind of the veterans, the kind of uppermost tier that we looked at last episode?
They're worth around 2 to 3 times the cost of a veteran who is similarly armed and armored.
Right.
So
Wow.
A lieutenant in, say, for instance, Mark 10 Tacticus armor, the kind of most common Primaris armor, is not worth that big a multiplier versus a Space Marine in Terminator armor. So there is a...
Gotcha.
You see what I mean? So there's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're known by a kind of different names throughout other chapters. In the Space Wolves, they're simply known as battle leaders, who assist the Wolf Lords, or who are the company commanders. Interestingly, in Iron Hands chapter, the one of the first founding legions. They're known as naysmiths, like their job is to play the devil's advocate, and they challenge their captain's strategies to ensure logical soundness, because the Iron Hands prefer to operate as machines rather than as flesh and blood people. But how fucking annoying would that be? Constantly.
Oh yeah, I'd love it.
I don't have to imagine that at all. We've got a Kral. Kral is. Sometimes I think you are, in fact, the actual devil's advocate, Kral, because it is your modus operandi, isn't it?
Love it. I love to challenge stuff.
But what if everything fell apart and didn't go to plan?
Yeah.
In most of the other chapters in the Imperium, the difference in names is simply cosmetic. So in Black Templars, they're referred to as Castellans. In Dark Angels, they're known as, certainly in the first couple of companies, they're known as Strike Masters or Talon Masters. And there are different classifications based on the type of armor they wear. So Vanguard, if you remember, the Vanguard Space Marine wear the Phobos armor, and those are the ones that look like shorts. Remember I was telling you? So those are known as Vanguard Lieutenants. I mean, it's quite a Ronseal name. It does what it says on the armor. So I'm going to throw up some images here of lieutenants before we move on. And these, of course, will be linked in the show notes. So I'm firing up 4 images here. So the first image there is of a standard, in quotes, line lieutenant. So equipped there for close combat. They can also just simply be equipped with a bolt rifle instead of a pistol and power sword there. That figure that we're seeing was one of the first Primaris lieutenants made. There is an ongoing joke. There are so many different Primaris lieutenant miniatures produced by Games Workshop. Like, it's in the 20s now for various different poses and chapters and equipment loadouts. So it's when a new one is released, it's usually to kind of sometimes genuine cheers, sometimes sarcastic eye-rolling cheers, and so on.
Why does that happen with lieutenants? Just why are there so many of them?
I think it's because they're a miniature you can buy on its own, like separate from a unit, but they're quite characterful. So you could technically use that. You could technically use lieutenant miniatures as sergeants if you wanted to give an extra kind of bit of sparkle to your units. And no, I'm standing by the use of the word sparkle.
Yes. Some jazz.
So then the next guy there is the lieutenant in Phobos armor. So in the shorts armor. And he's got an Oculus
armor.
Yeah. An Oculus bolt carbine, and he's got a grav chute there on his back, which is denoted by the veins, like weather veins coming out of his backpack, not a veiny backpack, which is a euphemism.
Yeah. He's got two knives. He's got 2 blades with 2 sheaths.
Yeah.
Is it like Witcher's? Like one
he's
for
fucking
killing
badass, Ben.
One's for killing a particular type of enemy.
You've only got 1 blade.
One's serrated for bread, and the other one's a cheese knife. Like.
Well, he's probably got one for. He's been given 2 because he's constantly losing one in battle by throwing it at an enemy. We'll say.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just put this down here.
Well, I will say that he has more knives than he has magazines for his gun.
That's true. Although we don't know what's on his other side.
We don't need to, Dar. We know.
Yeah.
So the beach shorts look. This is Phobos armor, is it?
Yes, Mark 10 Phobos armor. Yeah.
I like Mark 10 Phobos armor.
So they're the stealth ones. Yeah, they're the ones that their armor makes no noise when they walk, because all the other armor makes, like, I don't know if you've ever seen the video of the what's it called? The waffle maker that farts. There's all that kind of stuff going on when it's the regular armor, yeah. We see a sergeant with a storm shield and a neo-volkite pistol, and he's kitted out like a Blade Guard veteran. Do you remember the kind of unit of 3 or 6 guys with the big shields and swords? Much like from the episode of, I forgot what it's called, Next Level or Game Level? I can't remember. One was the Warhammer 40K animated thing that was on Amazon, and finally then we have a Primaris lieutenant known as a battle leader from the Space Wolf chapter in grey armor there, and they've got a what looks like to be a bolt carbine carbine and a power axe. So that one guy there is retaining the look of a space Viking, which is pretty good.
Yeah. He looks quite cantankerous.
Yeah,
like
he does, doesn't he?
Back in my day, as he's swinging his axe.
Are there? How are they ranked against each other? Because, like, okay, so they're the same rank, but they're from different. Like, would the guy in the Phobos armor be able to be on, like, talk to the others on par, even though he's a 10th squad?
They're all lieutenants. It's the same rank within the chapter. They're just kitted out in different operational styles. But a lieutenant has the same rank as another lieutenant within a chapter.
So that guy in the Phobos, he could be he wouldn't necessarily be the leader of a 10th squad recruit company.
No, he would be. He would be the leader of the 2 lieutenants in in 10th Company Vanguard kind of special operations style Marines. He would be one of those leaders
as a fully fledged Marine.
Yeah, as a fully fledged Marine. Right. If you recall, the 10th Company is now Vanguard and also Scouts.
Right.
Yeah.
How are we identifying the lieutenants against sergeants and privates and stuff?
It's the helmet stripes. According to the Codex Astartes, it's the white stripe with the thick white stripe with the red stripe down the middle.
And the old dude without a helmet at all?
Well, he's a battle leader. He's a space wolf, so he would be known on sight by his
different smells.
Do you know who I am? Yeah, that kind of thing.
They're identified by their smells, Krell.
Yeah, space wolves. He pisses everywhere, so he marks his armor.
He's been rolling in Fox P, hasn't he? That guy again. God, have a shower, Gerald. I don't have the eye. Like I can see obviously the different paraphernalia and kits and things like that, and some of them do look more grander than others. But lieutenant, grenadier, fucking sergeant. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're just holding big fucking guns.
No, you don't.
I'm looking forward to playing games against you, Chris. The next rank up then is the Space Marine Captain. So these are the ones that lead one of the 10 companies within a chapter. And we've talked previously about how each captain also has another job, like Master of the Fleet, Master of the Armory, Master of Recruits then for the 10th company. They have all these additional roles, administrative roles within a Space Marine chapter. So a captain, as I say, senior officer leading a company. Very often they are a veteran of the first company or have distinguished themselves. They've done the kind of Victoria Cross / Medal of Honor style bravery to turn the tide of a battle, or took command when the previous officer died, and brought a resounding victory for their chapter. So they're not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily go, Marine, Sergeant, Lieutenant, Captain. In some instances, it has gone from specifically Space Wolves in this regard. It has gone from a freshly minted Space Marine to a company captain because of the command kind of strategies and tactics that he used. But they are elected.
Wow, what a first day!
Yeah,
graduated. Lead this company. What?
Yeah, it's like if Harry Potter killed Voldemort during his induction into Hogwarts.
Yeah, right.
These are, as I say, elected by peers, mostly, and they are masters of centuries of experience, ultimately, of tactics and strategy, and they're able to adjust their kind of combat formations based on the kind of ever-changing conditions on a battlefield. They, without fail, always lead by example and always lead from the front. Part of their role is to embody the ideals of what it means to be a Space Marine so that the warriors underneath them can meet that kind of ideal. And in general, there are no Space Marine captains who are self-doubting in front of their subordinates. Yeah.
Like a good salsa teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must move like this.
You'd never get one that was like that guy, that character in Band of Brothers. I think it's the Bastogne episode where they're in the forest and he keeps on coming into the front line and be like, you guys good? You guys good? Okay, I'm going back to base. And just fucks off and leaves them all to it. Like. So none of that.
None of those guys. No.
So these are all Winters, basically, the main guy.
Effectively,
yeah. Badass. Yeah. What a badass.
They have, as I say, centuries of experience, honing their combat capacity and experience to like razor sharp edges. Their orders are followed absolutely to the letter, and indeed sometimes the spirit of the orders by the warriors under their command, and they can and regularly do take control of planets that are rebelling or that are under attack, and form grand strategies using all the other resources of the Imperium during a campaign. So, yeah, captains tend to be the leader in whatever room they're in, unless they are joining part of a larger force that's combining units from other Marines or extremely high-ranked Imperial Guard officers. So we're just going to throw up a couple of pictures of captains here. And again, show notes, #show notes. So much like the lieutenants, the captains can appear in many different types of armor. Any available to them. So we've got the 3 examples there. We've got a captain in Tacticus armor, the kind of common Primaris armor, with a jump pack. So they are an assault captain.
That's amazing.
We've also got a captain...
And Gravis armor in the next ones, is that right?
With the sword held upright. Yes, nailing it, Chris. So that's a kind of heavily armored...
It's like a snood. It's like a Space Marine suit snood around his neck, keeping him nice and toasty.
And is that the one that's kind of halfway between standard armor and the Terminator armor?
Exactly right, yeah. And then we've got a captain in Terminator armor. In general, if you see a captain in Terminator armor, it's the captain of the first company, but all captains can be equipped in Terminator armor if needs be.
Terminator armor sounds really, reassuring and protective, but it means nothing when you're not wearing a fucking helmet. Do you know what I mean? Just aim for the head.
Yeah. Oh, you're preaching to the choir here, Chris. Let me just tell you that there are no members of the Star Badgers that go into battle without a helmet.
Nice.
They're all helmeted. Some of them have got more than one helmet.
Yeah. Helmets on helmets.
Helmets on helmets.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, right. I watched that video under a terrible misapprehension. Changed my mind.
Quick question on that. A 2-part question. Bolt around to the face. Does the Space Marine die if it's like that?
To an unhelmeted face?
Yes.
More often than not, yes.
Okay. Follow-up question. What about a Primarch?
More often than not, no.
Really? So they could survive a bolter round, an explosive round, straight into the head?
Angron would fucking lap it up. He'd just be like, more!
That's pretty amazing.
Magnus would just
because they don't do helmets, do they? Or very
would
rarely.
like
with Magnus it would transform into like glitter or something.
Yeah, and it'll be like poof.
Just as an aside, talking about things hitting people, I just saw in the news this morning that a kid was arrested in America because he was going to WNBA games and just throwing dildos onto the court. I was just
God.
there's a bit of me that kind of nods, kind of, I see the humor, and then the rest of me is going, you fucking asshole. What an awful thing to do to professional sports people.
Wow. I love the idea that he arrested him and he was just wearing a long coat with just dildos on the inside.
What?
Strapped to him like a
Can't
bomb.
a young dildo entrepreneur attend a sporting event?
Yeah, I have a license for these.
Yeah, but not that one. Yeah. Commanders, do you carry the weight of an entire chapter on your pauldrons? Do you plot campaigns, move whole armies, and scowl menacingly at tactical maps, all while standing on your own armoured feet? By the throne, that's exhausting. Introducing the Command Chair. Crafted from the hull plate of a destroyed battle barge, upholstered with purified adamantium mesh, and sanctified by 3 tech priests and a slightly confused servitor, the Command Chair is the ultimate seat of tactical superiority. With its auto-reclining throne servo, you can issue orders comfortably. With its hololithic projection array, you can point dramatically at glowing campaign maps, and with its servo cup holder, you can enjoy a recap while condemning tens of thousands of guardsmen to glorious martyrdom. Don't just command in comfort. Seize the Command Chair today, and remember, a seated commander is a thinking commander. The next rank up really is the highest rank within a Space Marine chapter, and that's the Chapter Master. So much like a captain is to their company, a Chapter Master is to the entire chapter. So they have command of the entire force, well, under their command, I suppose. That includes all other assets, not, where a company is focused specifically on making war. A chapter master really deals with not only war, but the logistics of war as well. So they're in command of the fortress monastery, they're in command of any kind of spacecraft or the marine fleet that they have. They are responsible for making sure there are recruits coming in and that the obligations of the chapter are being met across whatever sphere of influence they have.
The CEO. He's
CEO.
He's making a positive working culture. Is that what you got? What you need? Is there anything I can do?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Spinning plates.
Someone flagged up to me, mate. Could you just make sure you're wearing a helmet next time you go into battle?
Yeah.
Here's an extra one if you, just in case you've lost yours.
I think that's definitely a T-shirt we should make. Mandatory helmets. Which was a name my rival danced under.
Just very quickly on the whole helmet gate. That's just so you can identify on the tabletop their rank, basically, that they are a person of importance.
Yeah, it tends to be that it's a model representing a leader is unhelmeted.
Yeah. Okay. Let it lie, Chris. Let it lie.
These chapter masters are elected from the company captains. So you're already gaining like a Marine who's in good standing with the leadership of the chapter and who has centuries of combat experience to the point where they almost have kind of supernatural insights into how to make
so much experience. It taught them to take their helmet off. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let it lie.
Yeah, let it lie. I take it there's no like debuff or penalty for not wearing. You don't get like -1 common sense.
No.
plus 1 arrogance.
I think maybe in RPGs, but not on the tabletop.
Okay.
in terms of the war game. I mentioned their kind of sphere of influence. Chapter masters are kind of legal entities within the Imperium of Man. They are very much like the rogue traders. They are a law unto themselves, and it's a point of kind of lore within Warhammer that they answer only to the Council of the High Lords of Terra and the Emperor themselves. That is the kind of extent of their power. They can pretty much do whatever they want within their area of influence, as we found out with the Badab War. They often rule from a home world, although we've discussed previously about fleet-based chapters, and they command entire systems or even entire subsectors in the Emperor's name. And these areas that they protect or police are often the most stable and secure within the Imperium itself, because they rapidly respond to threats within their area of influence. Mr. Chris.
Just needed to get off my chest. Lufgut Huron. You said Badab Wars. Oh, come on. Leader of the Astral Claws. Lufgut Huron. Thank you. Done. Carry on.
Chapter Master. Excellent.
Well done, Kral. Do you know what, Kral? I'm going to give you that.
Thanks, man.
Again, much like the lieutenants and captains, they have within different chapters, they're referred to by different titles. Sometimes they're referred to as the Imperial Commander, and that's usually used when they're interacting with other Imperial military entities or even the Administratum. Grandmaster is used by a lot of chapters. The Black Templars use something called the High Marshal. Is their High Marshal is their is their title. The Dark Angels use Supreme Grandmaster, and the Space Wolves use the Great Wolf as their kind of honorific. In terms of miniatures, on the tabletop, what you find is that these chapter masters embody the kind of spirit, the sculpts of these chapter masters embody the spirit of the chapter. So I'm going to pop up 4 images here. We'll see from the Ultramarines, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, and Space Wolves. So you can see in blue, we have Marnius Calgar, who sounds like a dish detergent. And anyone who's played the final level or the final couple of levels of Space Marine 2 will recognize the Fists of Ultramar, which are these 2 huge power fists with bolt guns underneath them. If you've played the game, you'll know he's the one that's riding on the front of the open Thunderhawk, firing bolt rounds into demons and the followers of Tzeentch as Titus and the rest kind of make their final stand. In the image, he's accompanied by his honor guard, which are the veterans of the chapter, armed with combat shields or storm shields and power swords. So they're his bodyguard, as if he needs one. Look at him, he's a fucking tank. In the green armor with the robe, we have Azrael, who's the Supreme Grand Master of the Dark Angels, and you see him there accompanied by a Watcher in the Dark. It's the little kind of being down on his left, and they're the kind of warp entities that can be found on Caliban, the chapter fortress of the Dark Angels. And spoiler, until recently, they were also the ones that hid the Primarch Lion L. Johnson within the kind of bowels of Caliban itself.
Ooh, those little shits. They look like the He-Man character.
Orko.
Dude, what is that his name?
Orko, yeah.
Or the Sand People from Star Wars. What were they called?
Yeah.
Jawas.
The Sand People.
It was Jawas, yeah.
Yeah, the Sand People are something else. They're the Tusken Raiders.
Oh, is that one thing? Oh, yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, the small brown lads, the Jawas, the brown robes.
Yeah, absolutely. What are they? Are they kind of quite literally cloaked in mystery? Do we not know?
Yes, we don't know what they are. Yeah.
Wow.
They're the kind of warp spirits of the planet that was Caliban. Yeah.
Right.
We've got the Blood Angels chapter master Dante there in his gold armor with his power axe and his inferno pistol with a jump
Bit
pack. He's not
pretentious.
just
saying.
It's the Blood Angels. They're all about pretension. And then
Yeah.
at the very bottom, we have possibly the greatest looking chapter master figure ever, which is Logan Grimnir, the Great Wolf of the Space Wolves, accompanied by 2 Fenrisian wolves. And he's wearing a truly huge suit of Terminator armor. And he's got his Axe of Mordkai there, which is a huge power axe, and a Stormbolter kind of clasped to his forearm on his right, or his left hand, draped in the pelt of a large wolf.
He's so badass. I'm glad he's not wearing a helmet.
Yeah. How do you think the wolves feel about the skinned wolf?
Well, they probably feel like that skinned wolf was weak, and so
Right.
survival of the fittest and all that. But each of those Grand Masters embodies the kind of aesthetic notion of what their chapter is. So with the Ultramarines, it's kind of this classical Greco-Roman look. With the Dark Angels, it's this kind of monastic Templar style knights. With the Blood Angels, as Chris quite rightly points out, pretension. And then the Space Wolves is this kind of space Viking tribal barbarian style warrior.
Yeah, man.
Pretty
Looks very
cool.
dwarfy. I like it.
Pretty cool. The Blood Angels character looks awfully suspiciously Age of Sigmar.
It does a little bit. That has been commented on before. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Is it Eternal Storm?
It's Stormcast. Chris is absolutely wiping the floor with you in lore, Ben. You've got to up your game.
Mate, I gave up a long time ago.
That's great. That's nice to hear.
But by all means, continue.
What we're going to do now is have a look at the other. So those are the commanding officers within a Space Marine chapter. So those are the 2 lieutenants and the captain for each company, and then the chapter master who rules over everything else. We've also talked previously about the other kind of command ranks within a chapter, and we're just going to quickly whip through them here. We have the Librarians. So these are the Psykers of Space Marine chapters. Now, not all Space Marine chapters have Psykers, but the ones that do have them. So the Librarians then, their function really is to serve as historians and lore keepers for the chapter's deeds. And they maintain a kind of body of arcane knowledge centered on the Librarius, which is the fortress monasteries, library and psychic training, the Hogwarts of Space Marine Fortress Monastery. They're often, because of their connection to the warp, even though they're warriors in good standing, fellow Marines tend to be distrustful of them. So they're held at kind of arm's length. And while no one would say anything to their face,
don't need to. They know it.
Yeah, they're estranged, really, from.
I heard that thought.
Yeah, I heard that.
I always think about whenever I hear the word librarian, the title librarian always reminds me of an old spitting image that I saw when I was a kid, where the American armed forces are invading Grenada, and they come across one of the civilians, and they're like, "Hey, what are you? Who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I live here. I'm a librarian." He's like, "Well, get back to Liberia," and just blows it away.
So there are 4 ranks within the librarians of the chapter. The first is the Lexicanium. These are the kind of freshly inducted Psykers. So these are the ones that have passed through the scout phase and into becoming true Space Marines. They are then inducted into the Librarius, and they're responsible for battle reports, really, for communicating the effectiveness or not of a specific battle or campaign. Mr. Ben.
What would define their route from the 10th Company into a librarian rather than through the normal hierarchy?
Well,
Is it like
when they're recruited, it's known that they're Psykers.
right? Okay, and being a Psyker is a prerequisite to being a librarian. Like you can't be a librarian without that.
No, because then you're just a magician, and magicians are shit.
Okay.
Brother Paul Daniels, please make that rabbit disappear once again. The next level up are the Codiciers, and they are the ones that provide kind of strategic analysis and psychic communications within a given campaign, making the need for relying on astropaths for in-system communication irrelevant. So they're effectively the human walkie-talkies of the Space Marine chapter. The Epistolaries are then the most powerful Psykers that are placed or that can be put on the battlefield. Those are the ones that can go toe-to-toe with like sorcerers and enemy alien Psykers. The Librarians is led by the Chief Librarian. You get really, again, Ronseal. And they are certainly the most senior and powerful Psyker within a chapter. And so given the psychic threats facing a Space Marine chapter, these are truly great warriors to have on your side. They are, because of the dangers associated with the warp and them, they are rigorously and ruthlessly screened and trained at every step along their kind of induction into the chapter. They face a far higher attrition rate than normal Space Marine recruits because of, if there's any doubt, shoot them in the head, effectively, is what is used within the
and there's
chapter.
A lot of doubt.
Yes, because they're constantly, they're not only are they tested for like on the battlefield, but they're constantly tested against the temptations and dangers of the warp itself. And the ones that, or the kind of command decisions to execute or euthanize a potential Librarius recruit is always done by the Librarius itself, by the Chief Librarian specifically. If they have any doubt, then gone. Wow. Donezo.
Can they flick a switch in that respect? Can they just be like, yeah, you're gonna be a danger to yourself and everyone else, so can they just psychically like
they'll just eviscerate them psychically. They can boil their brain in their head. So I'm going to fire up some more images here. We have Librarians. There's 3 images of Librarians. You'll note that they all have blue armor. That's not just because they're Ultramarines, but all Codex chapters, the Librarians have blue armor with one shoulder pad being retained as the color and icon of a given Space Marine chapter. Cool. So the Librarian in the long robes, with his hand kind of out, is a
Iron Manning.
Iron Manning. He's a kind of common or garden Librarius. They do come in Terminator flavor. So we see a Librarian with a huge force axe and a storm bolter on his left forearm. They all carry force weapons. There used to be a distinction between force swords, force axes, force staves, and so forth, but now it's just a force weapon that causes a similar amount of damage. The final one there is a Vanguard Librarian, who is a Psyker specializing in stealth. So they will mask the kind of heat signatures or psychic signatures of their battle brothers as they sneak into enemy terrain. And so suddenly it appears as if they're teleporting into battle when simply they've just been masked behind a psychic barrier. Mr. Ben.
That's cool as fuck. But don't Psykers have like a noticeable kind of presence to other Psykers? Like, can he mask himself?
Yes,
he can.
Yeah,
that's
Psykers.
Cool, almost like
part of the training is to be able to mask yourself. Within
cool
Space Marine chapter.
Okay.
We move on now to arguably the angriest type of Space Marine, and that is the Space Marine Chaplains. These are the warrior priests of a Space Marine chapter whose members, their kind of dual purpose is to again, inspire and show what a Space Marine can do, and also then inspire hatred of their enemy and kind of righteous indignation within their battle brothers as they make war. They are responsible for the spiritual health, but that's in quotes because, none of them, well, with few exceptions, none of them believe that the Emperor is a god, but they view him as their kind of genetic grandfather. And so they revere him as a warrior and an entity and, the master of mankind.
And daddy.
The chaplains keep their battle brothers on the straight or narrow.
So they really hold on to that original idea that Space Marines had before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before he became a god. That's cool.
And so we'll throw up, again, more images. These are black-clad warriors. And again, in almost all codex chapters, a chaplain wears black armor with one shoulder pad retained in the chapter color and icon. They're quite a kind of bone and skull-based armor. The Codex Astartes specifies, a helmet that's in the shape of a skull or a weird kind of rib cage style armor in bone to show the kind of the mortality of the Astartes, but also the wounds of the Emperor in terms of he's sacrificing and in pain for us.
Like how we celebrate Easter.
Yeah, like how we celebrate rabbits. There's a couple of variants there. So we've got 2 Space Marine chaplains in Tacticus power armor, including one guy who's got like a red halo over his head and kind of a weird leather trench coat, which I think looks rather cool. We then have a chaplain in Terminator armor with the blue shoulder pad, the blue on the left of the image, and a chaplain on a bike. Now, you'll see most of them are carrying a weapon in different formats, but it's known as the Crozius Arcanum, and it's a power club used to beat the veneration of the Emperor into the enemies and as kind of a symbol of their office. These Astartes also have a kind of chain of office called a Rosarius, and that produces a force field, which can turn aside direct hits from las cannons. And it's used to represent the blessings of the Emperor upon these kind of chosen warrior priests. Both. I'm going to go with Ben beat you to it, Chris.
I've just an observation. I think these might be my favorite minis of all time.
Yeah, they do look badass.
Astoundingly cool, aren't they? Just the guys, I didn't even notice the guy with the fucking Terminator armor. Jesus. The guy with the kind of large hourglass, his sword is outrageous. It's just a rectangle.
I was just going to say, that is a Judiciar, I think is the pronunciation, and that's an aspirant chaplain. So that's a battle brother in training to become a chaplain. Because chaplains are constantly kind of preaching the lore and kind of duty required of Space Marines, the Judiciar takes a vow of silence. So he's on his kind of pilgrimage to become the final pilgrimage to become a chaplain. So he has an executioner's sword. Executioner's swords in our own history famously didn't come to a point because it was the blade itself that was going to deliver justice.
Right.
But the hourglass he has is called a tempor mortis. I think that's tempor mortis. It's a device that slows time around him, so he can move very quickly through the battlefield to get to an enemy leader to kill them.
Fucking hell. Okay, quick follow-up question before Kral dives in. Can I have a whole army of these, please?
Yes, they're called Black Templars. Mr. Chris.
Shut the front door.
Do chaplains have any relationship to the ecclesiarchy in any way?
No, and they almost stand at odds against the ecclesiarchy, and many in the ecclesiarchy view the chaplains as apostates because while they venerate the emperor, they don't venerate him as a god. So we've discussed previously that kind of
right.
dichotomy between the two institutions.
Interesting.
They seem so similar in many ways. Not that I know the ecclesiarchy very well, nor chaplains, but they seem to have, classic war of like differences in religion. Like you're really worshipping the same thing and you're doing the same thing, just slightly differently. So let's have a war over it.
The next group we'll talk about of kind of officer ranks are the Apothecaries. We've discussed them a bit at length previously about how they're the kind of field medics for the Space Marine chapters. And I'll throw up a couple of images here because we don't really need to go into them in that level of detail because we covered them already. You'll see they're in white armor. Again, the Codex Astartes mandates that Apothecaries have white armor with one shoulder pad retaining their chapter's color and iconography. The chap who seems to be looking at his hand, he's looking at some progenoid glands that he's just extracted from his battle brother who he's standing on, which is weird.
Wow. I mean, I'm guessing he had to like hold them down as he ripped them out. That's why he's
So the little vial that's on the kind of leather strap around his wrist, that's going to hold the progenoid glands during the battle until they can be returned to the Apothecary. You see there, he's got
That's the
various
fucking weird apothecary with his sack of gene seeds. Oh god,
yeah. Sack boy. You'll see that his backpack has a number of appendages. Some of them will contain syringes for combat stims. You see one there. He's got a kind of torch on, so he can make a better determination of where to stick his extracting gun that you see in his other hand. They are equipped with something called a narthecium, which is a combined forearm-mounted medkit and chainsword, which can cut through various armor to cut away and get to the injury, and then inject various combinations of drugs that trigger some of the implants to overproduce like clotting agents, pain meds, that kind of thing, to make sure that their battle brothers remain combat effective, even though they're heavily injured. The other image there you'll see of an apothecary carrying a huge kind of cylinder.
Vat.
Yes, that thing. That's an apothecary biologist. These are a relatively new advance within the chapter's Apothecaries, where they primarily for dealing with Xenos. So they take samples of Xenos bodies and analyze them within these containers that will allow them then to advise the commanders on where to hit an enemy to make it effective, or where the weak spots are, or
in the unhelmeted head.
Yeah, is there a poison that can be generated to counteract the life of the Xenos? Mr. Ben.
How does that have an effect on is that represented on the tabletop?
There's a couple of ways it's represented. The most common is that it gives the unit that the apothecary is near or is attached to an additional buff or an additional damage against a specific type of unit. This type of apothecary came around within the 10th edition big box set. So they're of use against Tyranids, effectively, within the game. So they give their units a buff to be able to take them down.
They're cool. I like them.
They are
cool. Yeah, Apothecaries. Each company is assigned an apothecary. It should be noted each company is also assigned a chaplain as well. So in addition to the captain, they have an apothecary and a chaplain dealing with the physical welfare and spiritual welfare of the warriors under their command. The final group I want to talk about, the final section, are the Techmarines. These are not these are the Space Marines who run and manage the forges within a chapter's a chapter fortress or indeed on the ships. They are the ones that maintain the vehicles and repair the vehicles in the field during battle. They also are used to crew huge artillery pieces and also to kind of man the larger vehicles. So that most of the vehicles that are driven will be crewed by Space Marines from the reserve companies, but also may have a Techmarine on board who can then repair some of the larger, more archaic war engines. It should be noted they're also in charge of the servitors for the chapter. So I'll throw up 3 images here.
If you've only got one apothecary and one chaplain per company, a company's 100 Marines, is that right?
Yeah.
One apothecary seems awfully disproportionate to the size.
Well, it's an apothecary who's dedicated to that chapter, who's permanently assigned to have it. There are other apothecaries within the chapter who can be assigned as needs be. The apothecary is its own separate kind of department, which is staffed with apothecaries and apothecaries in training.
I see.
And so it's a proportion of the total number of apothecaries that's assigned to companies on an ongoing basis.
Right.
The Techmarines then are the kind of almost mystical robot fixing warriors of the Space Marine chapters. They're the mechanics and the engineers.
The repairing fairies.
The referees, and so the standard Techmarine we see has red armor, and you see them there with not only a bolt pistol and a power axe, the big the power axe with the kind of cog blade. It really is the symbol of a Techmarine. They're also equipped with a servo arm for some heavy lifting, which is attached to their backpack or generator. And then they've got a forge bolt gun strapped to the backpack as well, which allows them to kind of keeps their hands free while they're repairing something and laying down covering fire.
Tinkering.
During the battle.
Amazing.
You also see there's some kind of mechandrites, kind of like a cable with a little arm at the end, and that's used to connect directly to like the computer interface. Do you know, like in RoboCop, where you can make the original RoboCop, where you can make a giant spike come out of his hand, and he plugs into a machine.
Jams it into
it's that kind of deal for the Techmarines.
It's a diagnostics thing. It's like when you go to your car garage now, your car's
exactly
like this
right.
plug-in thing. Yeah. Oh yeah, your fucking engine fell out 3 miles ago. That's what that was.
Could you not have told that by just looking at it?
No. We got to do it properly.
The other Techmarine there in black armor is what's referred to as an Iron Father, and they are on a par with company captains within the Iron Hands company.
Dr. Octopus. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly right. So again,
he's got the fairground grabber as well, going for the squishy toy. Bloop, bloop. You'll never get it.
On the tabletop, these Techmarines allow you to repair your vehicles if they've been damaged during the game and or operate certain artillery pieces. Mr. Chris.
These support units, so the Techmarines, the Apothecaries, do they have any firepower at all? Can they defend themselves? Can they contribute to a battle in any offensive way?
Yes, they can, but it's not their primary purpose. Their primary purpose is to buff or repair or to be effective in a different way on the battlefield. Like the Librarians are masters of psychic combat. They're no slouch. They're still Space Marines. They're no slouches in traditional hand-to-hand combat or ranged combat. They are also amazing at one sphere of battle. So with the Librarians, it's Psykers. For the Apothecaries, they're no slouches in close combat, but they're also trained to keep their brothers' lives. Chaplains are insane in close combat, and almost every tournament army for the Primaris, and we're looking at Primaris miniatures here, in 8th and 9th edition, the chaplain on the bike was in every one of those armies because of the kind of aura buff, the area effect buff of how angry a chaplain can make their Space Marine brothers with their
his angle was infectious.
Very much so. And so with the Techmarines, in terms of on the tabletop, you will take them as a single miniature or as a kind of unit leader for a unit of servitors. And I've put in an image there of some servitor miniatures from a recent Kill Team squad release. But they do operate pieces of artillery as well. So I was
going to say, they don't look very Space Marine-y.
Yeah. Is the guy in the top right got a tuning fork?
Yes.
Is he just playing healing frequencies across the battle?
What we're kind of skirting around here is the Apothecaries are actually homeopathists. And that's my lot for today. We've had a look at the line officers, the commander officers, and also the more specialized ranks that are available within a codex chapter. The non-codex chapters, like the Dark Angels, the Blood Angels, they all have chaplains and Techmarines and Apothecaries and Librarians. They're just called different things, and when we cover them in 10 years' time, you'll see the familiarity. But that's your lot. Mr. Chris.
These last 3 episodes, going through the different Firstborn, Primaris, and various units and things like that, has lifted the veil from my eyes in so many ways. Like, I see dioramas and teams of just basically Space Marines looking different, but now I'm getting more familiar with the different ranks and roles and things like that. So thank you, Darren.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Is what I'm saying. Welcome, yeah, no, it's been very enlightening, really. Like
that, there is a huge difference between the lore of Space Marines and the capacity and lore of a Techmarine versus how they work on the tabletop. All Space Marines are far more powerful and effective in the lore than they are on the tabletop.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, there would be no point in play. Well, as my experience, my short experience of playing Kill Team with you demonstrated, like going against, they're still a little bit more powerful than, like their point cost is higher than a kind of standard, than a standard unit of another faction. But basically, I'll never play Space Marines without Space Marines.
Now my brain's trying to, never played the game, and I don't really get the concept of the game, but trying to picture how you balance these characters in a game.
I think that's on the cards. I think with the advent of, with the founding of Space Badgers, there's undoubtedly a game in the pipeline.
It's going to happen. It's a matter of when, not if. We're going to have a game. Yeah.
All of these officers and the squads we mentioned will appear in some form in the Star Badgers army.
Amazing.
Too fucking right. Do we all get our Space Badgers character? Will we all become a Space Badger?
We're going to make them up. Yep. Oof. So the next episode will be the final show and tell episode, and that's really going to be about vehicles.
Right. Okay.
Vehicles.
Sweet. Vehicles.
The Reaver, the Rhino, and the Land Speeder. That's what you need to know. And a drop pod.
Stop showing off.
Saved your
Carl, if you're going to have, obviously, just to go back to your question about the characters within the Star Badges for us, which of these would you go? I'm just going to cut in there. I go a chaplain. I'm a chaplain.
Yeah, no, the chaplains and the apothecaries are quite fun. I like as a support unit. The apothecaries are probably my favorite. Chaplains feel annoying.
That's why I'm going them, because they annoy you. You can't be an apothecary because there's no looting involved in an apothecary. That's not your job.
All the gene seeds you want, buddy.
That assertion does not hold up. It varies chapter to chapter.
Right, okay. I mean, if you were a Techmarine crowd, think of all the fucking loot and the parts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's all right. As long as it's not a chaplain, yeah.
Hey.
You know the chapter, the Blood Ravens from the Dawn of War games?
No.
Yeah, well, they get into a lot of trouble because they loot everything all the time from everyone.
Basically a chapter of kleptomaniacs.
Yeah, and that's not a joke. That's real.
Amazing. It's Creed from The Office.
Yeah.
I think my favorite, sorry, I don't know if I got it right, the first lot of units, were they lieutenants? Not the captain.
The first ones we did today, lieutenants.
Lieutenants, yeah. So in the Phobos armor with the visor thing and the jump pack, he's my favorite character so far. Yeah.
Oh, old
Nice.
full boss Chris.
Although the guy with the shield and the bolter and the halo, he looks pretty cool. Anything with a toga looks pretty fun.
Toga Kral.
I tell you what,
Yeah, man.
what we'll do is we'll do a full boss lieutenant for you, and I'll sculpt on a toga.
But with shorts as well. Like, he's got to have the shorts.
Can you unhelmet it and do your best doing my mug with my glasses as well? That would,
Yeah,
that would,
with the glasses
That would make
as
my
well.
day. That would really
I'm going to say yes.
Which one would you be, Dark?
I kind of really like the Techmarines.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's your kind of vibe, isn't it?
Or to get rid of all the stress in my life, I'd be a servitor.
Yeah, minimize that responsibility. The tuning fork servitor.
Right, Benny, take us out.
All right, that's all from us. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more 40k content, you can hit the Patreon link in the description and sign up today to listen to our bonus show, 40KO'd. Details and imagery for the topics we've discussed in this show can be found on our website at layingdownthelore.com, where we also have all of our previous episodes, release schedules, and merchandise. And you can now also join our Discord for free. So just hit the link in the description and come and tell us what you think of Kral's full boss armor with hopefully shorts painted on.
and no helmet.
And no helmet. We'll be back again soon displaying just how little Kral and I know. And until then, a goodbye.
A goodbye.
A toodaloo.